about a shirtless man.
I appreciate you guys being here this month. I've got an exciting show planned. We've got Richard from Peach Auction. In fact, I'm headed down there tonight. I'm taking 3 or 4 people with us, and we're going to go buy some cars tonight. I'm excited about that. Their dealer auction. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We've got the TR6 painted, and we'll go back there and check it out. We've done a motorcycle for a veteran. I'm going to explain this to you. It is so cool. I love projects with stories behind them, and this story is really cool. And in the background is the Mustang from last month, the 64.5. And I've got something I want to show you special on that car. But here again, I appreciate you being here this month, and let me explain the motorcycle to you. You know, we went to the Great American Motorcycle Show, and we show off all of our various and sundry items, but stuff that we do, you know, work we do. And we actually get business from that. And I met this guy at the motorcycle show. He came up to me and he said, hey, I'm a Navy veteran, and I want to somehow let people know where I've been and what I've done through my motorcycle. He brought us the motorcycle, the 3 pieces, the 2 fenders, and the tank. It was red. He wanted it painted black. Now, the cool thing is, I learned so much from my customers. I did not realize that each ship has a different number on it, and that number designates what kind of ship it is. For example, DDG is a destroyer. Now, the guy went on to tell me this, that throughout his 20-some-odd years of career with the Navy, that every time he was sent overseas on a ship, when he came back to the States, he would say, please send me out again. I want to go to a different place. So that old saying about join the Navy and see the world, that's what he did, man. For 20-some-odd years, he was stationed on 7 different ships and went to 7 or 8, maybe even 10 different countries. Now, we commemorated each ship he served on his back fender, along with the cross cannons and his battle ribbon. So this ribbon is hand-painted, a battle action ribbon. Now, to look at this guy, he was intimidating. He's a big, rough guy. And when he was telling me about his Navy career, I envisioned in my mind that he had spent a lot of his career in the brig. And I'm telling you, look at this guy, you think, man, you know, he'd been in several bar fights or whatever. See these 3 chevrons, these 3 bars? This is something he received upon retirement, and it was very limited as to who gets it. And the only people that receive this are the people that never got in trouble. No. So don't judge a book by the cover. Lesson learned. Of course, I knew that lesson already. So in all of his career, looking at this big, rough guy, thinking, man, he's been in the brig, he's got some stories to tell. No, sir. He served proudly, and proudly never, ever got in trouble in the Navy. So this bike was put together to commemorate. And of course, Chasten did the work. Yeah. The work is second to none. Yeah. And I was so proud to do something like this, man. And I learned a lot. You know, my brother retired from the Navy, but the stories this guy told us, I didn't know. The Yellow Mustang is such a cool story. Now, that was a 6-month-long project, and we're down to the final 30 days. Most of that car is painted. Next week, the rest will be painted. Hopefully, by the time the TV show comes back next month, it will be on its way home. It's just such a cool story. The car owner brought me the Mustang totally disassembled, wants to paint it back the exact color it came from the factory. You think that's not a big challenge, but what you've got to remember is this is a 64.5 Mustang. It's a 1-year only color. And back in '64, when cars were painted, cars' paint had lead in it. Today, there's no lead in paint. It took a lot of work between myself and Sherwin-Williams to come up with an exact match for this paint. And this is all the pieces. We've got the two fenders, the hood, the deck lid, the gravel guards, fender extensions front and rear, some hinge pieces. And in a few minutes, we'll go to the back and take a look at the whole car. But if you remember, I told you just like this bike, I like something with a story behind it. If you remember from last month, I told you this was a one owner only car. That this gentleman that we're restoring this car for, mother bought the car brand new. What did he bring me yesterday? He brought me the actual original bill of sale. Man, this is so cool. It's just such a cool story that a car is now owned by a son who the car went through several different aunts and uncles and got the tar run out of it and the brakes beat off of it. And here we are putting it back together. And his intent is to put it together and have it the way it was when it was bought brand new. This 64.5 Mustang was bought brand new on May 15, 1964. Tax, tag, and title out the door, $2,697.51.
This is the car that dreams are made of. Dream your own Mustang. Even though Mustang is a dream, its low price is a beautiful reality. Test drive one right now at your Ford dealers in Pleasant Dreams.
I can tell you this, the one my wife drives, that wasn't even the down payment, my friend. $2,697. That just amazes me. Amazes me what you could buy a car for. And a V8 car on top of that. Now next month, when you guys visit with us next month, you're going to see this whole car painted and done. We'll go out back in a few minutes and check out the rest of the car.
With an unexpected variety of options, Mustang is the one car that's designed to be designed by you. Get ready to meet the unexpected April 17th at your Ford dealers. Mustang is only days away.
Hello, Jeannie Griffin here to talk to you about a radio station in town, your local community, 92.5 The Bear. Country formatted, but also your hometown radio, conversations with local businesses, high school sports, and so much more. You may not realize, but you can tune in to 92.5 on your dial on your radio in your car or anywhere. You can stream us online at 925fmthebear.com and get all your local community information, whether it's local sports, weather, traffic, and some great country music. Everything from our vintage country to new country. So give us a try. Tune in to 92.5 The Bear and see what you think about the new community radio station here in Henry County.
Hello, my name is Linda Clark. I'm with CNC Fence. We are a family-owned and operated business that has been in business since 1983. We do residential and commercial fence, all types, in the Metro Atlanta area. We also do temporary construction fence for construction sites.
Hi, my name is Jennifer with Lady Fencer. I sell fence material to the public for do-it-yourself. Come see me today.
Come see us at CNC Fence. We have a showroom that you can look at, and we do free estimates.
Welcome to Eagles Landing Country Club, the social hub of Henry County. We'd like to invite you to the club to take a look around and experience all the amazing benefits that membership offers. From our cool casual dining in our members lounge and Chop House 88, to our tennis facility, and of course our 27-hole championship golf course. Members also enjoy events, amenities, such as private events for social, business, and golf outings. Thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you for your personalized tour.
Hey, so I'm going to come down tonight. I'm going to bring about 3 folks with me for the dealer auction. I've got I don't know if you remember him, a good friend of mine. He sold his Avante down at the collector car auction. He needs a car for his granddaughter. He needs a car for his grandson. They're kids in their 20s. They need something good, reliable, turnkey, just go. So a dear friend of mine, we're headed down, and we're in need of 3 cars. So he has grandchildren that needs cars, daughter that needs car. We're going to Peach Auctions to buy cars. think you can set me up when I come down looking at?
Absolutely.
Have him bring some money.
Oh, he'll bring money. I'm not worried about that part. But I guess the thing about it is there's plenty of selection down there for the, you know, it's almost going to be like walking through a used car lot, right?
We normally run 80 to 120 cars on Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. Do it every week.
Oh, fantastic.
Anywhere from, you know, small Hondas all the way up to Suburbans and everything in between. Lots of pickup trucks. So just a little good variety.
I think we're going to come down a couple hours early, get a good look. They've got over 100 cars coming through tonight, and these are local dealer trade-ins. So, in other words, local dealers, you know, you go trade your car in, they've got to have a means to liquidate these cars, and Peach Auctions is the place they go. So we expect to see some really nice late model trade-in cars. Mandy, did you call them about the Wheels for Warriors? Mm-hmm. And what I kind of got this idea. If you guys want to come down, it's at the VFW, and it's a charity car show.
April 18th.
April the 18th, and it is for the veterans. And
Put on by the Bomber Girls.
The Bomber Girls.
The Rotary Club.
The Rotary Club in Caida. And the VFW. And I got this crazy idea. What if I come up with memorabilia, and kind of like what we did for the Wounded Warriors last year, I'll paint up some stuff, pinstripe some stuff, have chassis involved, and can you guys auction that off?
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
Auction it off, and all the proceeds will go to those veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think that's good stuff.
It's our favorite way to raise money, is doing it that way.
Yeah, and you know, it gets
cause.
a level of excitement going on too.
That's it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great promotional item for us. We want the people, you know, out there to know about Peach Auction Sales and the fact that we do 4 classic car auctions a year and 1 dealer auction a week. And
as soon as we wrap up filming here, I'm headed to the auction. And the classic car auction's coming up in May, right?
May the 2nd.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to bring motorcycles. You guys have asked to try to bring some nice bikes, and I think we're in the middle of building a bike for Warriors for Heroes.
That's
And
right.
it'll be done. In fact, it should be done next month. So the 64.5 Mustang that we've got a lot of pieces painted to, there's something special on the car itself I want to show you. Now the body of the car is ready to go to paint, and nothing really to show off there other than it's just ready. But there's a special feature about a 64.5 Mustang I want to show you. So the Mustang trivia, well, the Mustang, I want you to see that it's ready to go to the booth, but the trivia part is alternator versus generator. A 64.5 Mustang is different in a lot of ways, and you guys have seen on past episodes, is different in a lot of ways than a 65, although they look the same. One thing that is different is the vents in the front of the car that allow air to come in to cool the generator. Cars came with generators, big, bulky, slow turning, a lot of wire, a lot of heat, very low voltage, 6 volts. They had to have those vents in the front of the car so as you're flying down the highway, it forced air across the generator to keep it cool. Now, when we bought this whole new radiator support, you cannot buy it for a 64.5. You can buy it for a 65. The 65 does not have these vents. So what we did was we actually cut this piece out of the 64.5. We welded it in, grafted it in. You can't even tell that we did this work. But what I wanted to show you is this. This is an alternator. And the alternator sets on the motor, or in the 64.5 generator, sets on the motor right behind these vents. A lot smaller, doesn't hold the heat, doesn't generate the type friction it took in a 6-volt generator to make a car turn over and start. Higher voltage, which means less heat, less resistance. Now the trivia I wanted to share with you is this. Pre-65, 1964 and older, 90% of the cars ran by a 6-volt generator. Now, a 6-volt generator compared to today, 12 volts, a 6-volt generator generates a lot of heat. It's very slow and cumbersome, and it's a big unit. So these vents had to be in the car. So 90% of the automobiles that was pre-65 required vents and a big fan to keep it cool. Now in a modern car today is a 12-volt alternator. It turns faster, it stays cooler, and it has a fan on the front. Even though the generators had fans on them, they just had overheating problems with the old style generators. So that's what these vents are for. Now I'll be honest with you, there is a technology today that just knocked my socks off, that batteries don't have to be as big as they are anymore. I wish the automobile manufacturer would step up to the plate and start using them. Chaston showed me when I was in his studio last month a motorcycle battery that you could put in your back pocket that cranks a big Harley. And I'm looking into it as Chuck and I possibly using it on the bike we're building now. So the technology, I think you're going to see in the next few years change again. You know, there's a lot to technology and design. Here's the deal. Cars are shaped and they're dreamed about. The very first Mustang that was presented at the auto show looks very little like the Mustang that hit the street. The Mustang that hit the street had to change its design features to fit engineering. So today you pop the hood on my wife's new Mustang and it's a whole different look, but it does the same thing. So the engineering and design now are starting to, you know, it's like this. Back in the day, a lot of horsepower could be built and you drink a lot of fossil fuel. Well, technology catches up. Today, a lot of horsepower can be built and drink very little fuel. I tell my wife all the time in her Mustang, and it's fast, she's getting over 20 miles to the gallon in that car. So when she says it's time for a fill up, we go down and pump $20 in. I'm like, man, I can't believe this. You know, my diesel truck, I've got it tuned right now to over 600 horsepower. And you can hear the diesel run from the tank under the seat to the injectors. You know, but I like the horsepower. I mean, it is what it is. Let's go in the shop and see what the guys have going on. We've started a lot of new projects this month. Things move pretty fast through the shop. And we've got the TR6 painted. I want to share that with you. David should be over there doing some final assembly on it, and man, that car is so beautiful. And I'm going to tell you a little story about that car, something I just found out that is so cool. Watch the water and keep your feet dry.
Crazy about a shot man.
Fancy that fine jewelry, guaranteed to make her smile.
Here at Foundation Sports, we provide a fun family environment for children of all levels to reach their goals and perform to their highest potential. Both family and individual packages are available. Member clinics, skill testing, 24-hour access, discounted pricing on individual lessons, skill development, fall and winter program, as well as weekly and day camps. As a member, you would be entitled to discounts on Wilson and DeMarini products, as well as an assortment of items from our BSN catalog. Be sure to visit any of our 3 locations in Peachtree City, Lovejoy, and Stockbridge. Be sure to like us on Facebook and find us online at foundationsportsllc.com.
Did you know that in 2002 I perfected the Gordo's cheese dip recipe, and then we offered it to the good people of Stockbridge in 2003. That creamy, smooth, and luscious cheese flavor made with real cheese and wholesome ingredients has become a favorite, and now we're sharing it with folks across the country. And there's so many different ways Gordo's can add a flavorful twist to most any meal, like Philly steak and cheese, the easy cheesy biscuits, Gordo's burrito, and of course our delicious stovetop mac and cheese, and so much more. But do you know the real reason why Gordo's cheese dip is so popular?
Because it tastes good.
Because it tastes good.
Crazy about a shot man.
I just want to give you guys an overview of what's in my shop today, and just an idea that as a month goes by on Hot Rods and Rust, things change a lot here at Campbell's Customs. For example, we've got a first generation T-Bird in the shop that we have already completed all the body work to. When was the last time you actually seen a first generation T-Bird? Well, you know, last year we did one, and this year we're doing another one. Very seldom do you see these cars. They're called the baby birds, 55, 56, and 57. They're 1 year only cars. They're each slightly different. They're rare as hen's teeth on a T-Bird. But they're rare cars. Now that car is going back black, which is one of the hardest colors to do. Maybe next month you can see this car painted. First generation T-Bird. We've got a Corvair that has already been sandblasted. Now if you remember, the Corvairs was a car that was kind of put out of business by Ralph Nader. They said the cars wasn't safe. They're a neat and very unique car. They're rear engine, air-cooled, American-built car. Chevrolet Corvair. Do I think they were unsafe? You know, I'm not going to make a judgment on that, but I think they're cool. And they are starting to gain in collector value. It has already been etch primed, and we are ready to start body work. And in fact, we've already started cutting in new floor pans. This car will come and go fast. And here again, I just want to give you an overview because things do move fast here at the shop. Now, if you remember the 55 that Omar is working on, it's about an 18-month long job. Omar is doing some final body work. It's going two-tone, blue and white, so I'll probably make that car white next month. And then we'll move on to trimming and painting blue, and we're headed towards the end of that car. That car came to us from the state of Arizona, and we are moving on to phase 2. Omar is finishing up body work. And guess what else? Over in the corner, we've got an all-time favorite. Of course, Charlotte, the Big Bel Air, one of my favorites, sitting over in the corner. It came back to us. She's got a few problems, but she drives that car, man. She burns the interstates up with it. And it's just time for a little bit of maintenance. A year later, what do you expect? We did some touch-up on the top, so that's why the Big Bel Air is back. Well, let's go over and take a look at the TR6. There's an amazing story behind that car that I did not know until I met with the owner a few days after last month's episode. Let's go check that car out. The TR6 brought back a memory I had, and I did not realize this. I guess I knew it, but had forgotten. So I'm sitting in my office meeting with the owner of the TR6. We're going through some final details, him and his daughter. And he told me that, I asked him, I said, Mr. Sanders, when did you get the car? He said, I bought it brand new in 1974. So this is the TR6 you guys seen last month, ready to paint. Now David has put in a lot of time on this car. It's been painted, it's been polished, and man, it's looking sharp. I want to tell you the story behind this car. He said, I went to the Triumph dealership and I looked at a catalog and I picked out the car I wanted. I said, you looked at a catalog? He said, yes, I looked at a catalog. They had a car there, but it was just for demo models. And he says, I put my name on a list. And I said, I wanted a Carmen red with the tan interior. I wanted the red line tires. I wanted this and I wanted that. And he said 6 months later, he said, I'd forgotten about it. I got a phone call. The guy on the other end of the phone told him this. Said, I've got your TR6. We're uncrating it today. It's ready for you to pick up tomorrow. Well, Mr. Sanders had forgot about it. He wanted the car, but he had just put it on the back burner. He says, what, you've got my car? And he says, oh, if you don't want it now, I've got another list of 10 other people ready to get your car. He says, but this is yours. You're first one on the list to get it. He said he rushed down to the dealership, wrote the check, bought the car, and it hadn't even gotten out of the container yet. David, you keep rubbing, you're going to rub the paint off, man.
It's so beautiful.
David has done a lot to this car. And in fact, we don't work overtime in the shop, but David came in and spent all day Saturday on this car, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
On this car, not every piece was replaced. And this car has moved through the shop pretty fast. I wouldn't call this a restoration. I'd call it just short of restoration. Well, in talking to the car owner, I found out a very, very interesting story. And come to find out, that he's retired now, and he grew up in Alabama. He grew up on a farm. His father was a farmer. And he noticed in my office there was a picture of a farm tractor. And he says, man, I grew up driving a tractor just like that. And he started telling me a story about growing up on a farm and what he did as a kid. And he asked me, he says, "Can you paint on the back of my car, over the hill, picking up speed?" That's kind of a catchphrase. It's kind of cool. And I said, "Picking up speed?" And he says, "No, picking." He says, "I grew up on a cotton farm, and us kids picked cottons from the time we got up to the time we went to bed if we wasn't in school." And to hear him tell me the stories of how he grew up on a farm. And he was only 8 years old when his father told him to get on that farm all age, put it in gear, and go to driving. And that picking up speed reminded him of being on the farm. His dad saying, "Got to go, got to work." And just to hear the stories of that, and I grew up on a little farm too. And I kind of had a little farm I raised my kids on. Now on this car, we replaced a lot of parts. New mirrors. This car actually didn't come with a passenger side mirror. He requested that we put one on there. Right now we're trying to figure out some of the things on the windshield, how the rubber configurations go. We've got a lot of new interior for the car. We've already got the mat inside. Few trim pieces left here and there. We're actually waiting on the carpet at this point. Inside the trunk is complete. We've got new trunk mat in place, the new liner for the whole thing. We've got the deck lid off. We'll put it back on later today. You know, the back of this car is supposed to be black. This is the factory color. It's called Carmen Red or British Racing Red. But the back of the car is painted satin black. And I had Chasten come over a few days ago and paint his little logo on the back of the car. So it's kind of hidden, but it's kind of cool. But all in all, man, it's just a beautiful car. I've ordered new Redline tires. There's only one company that still makes the tires for this car, the actual factory correct tires. And I've got those coming. They should be here maybe next week. Hopefully, with any luck, maybe next month, TV show, this thing will just be done. So it just brought back some good memories. And to be patient enough to wait about 6 months to finally get that TR6 that he picked out of a catalog, that's just cool stuff, man. You know, I don't care who you are. I tell you what, in today's society, if you were told that to get that new Ford SUV that you desperately want, you had to wait 6 months, stand in line and put your name here, and a deposit for a car you don't even see, we wouldn't do it. I can tell you right now, we got to have it now or we ain't gonna do it. Either way, good to go. Well, David, I appreciate your hard work, man. Mr. Sanders is he's gonna be impressed when he sees the car this week.